Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Electronics Maddie. In this video, I am going to demonstrate simulation of dual converter in MATLAB Simulink. In case you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to it so that you will be getting the videos that we post regularly. Alright, let's get into our topic for today. This is the MATLAB model of a dual converter. At the first place, let us try to understand what dual converter circuit is all about. So we're giving an AC supply, we are using a control rectifier and we are obtaining a DC output voltage over here. This DC voltage that is obtained is given as an input to an inverter section. So the inverter basically inverts DC into AC and you'll be getting an AC voltage at the load terminals. So what are we trying to do? We are converting AC to DC at this point, converting DC to AC again at this point. We are basically getting AC at the load terminals. However, there are two types of converters that are used in order to achieve this operation. Hence the name dual converter. So how is this circuit helpful? So if you observe in a lot of circuits, you might require both DC and AC output. So for example, if you take tapping from this point, you'll be getting DC output. And for example, if you take tapping from this point, you'll be getting AC output. So you can use this as both AC and DC supply, and that is why this plays a very important role in practical applications these days. I hope the basics of dual converter is understood. Let's go to MATLAB and start our simulation over there. Here we are in MATLAB. Click on Simulink Library browser and search for PowerView block. So you'll be getting this block, add this block to the model. So it's basically the compiler for the circuit. We also need a voltage measurement block in order to measure the voltage. Once that is done, we'll be requiring an AC voltage source. Search for AC voltage and add the ones that are there in black. Because the blue ones are prominently used in signals and system and digital signal processing applications, as a result, we'll be adding the ones that are there in black. So they're popularly used for power electronic and power system applications. So once this is done, we will be requiring a thyristor. So for a rectifier section of the circuit, we'll be adding the components now. So we'll be requiring a thyristor, and once that is done, we'll be requiring a pulse generator in order to trigger these thyristors, isn't it? So add this block as well. Once this is also added, we will be requiring a series RLC branch. Search for series RLC, and you'll be getting it over here. Once this is done, we will be requiring a scope in order to see the waveform. So it's basically the oscilloscope in practical applications, but this is labeled as scope in Simulink. Once this is also added, let us look into the components with respect to the inverter section. We'll be requiring a MOSFET. Search for MOSFET and you'll be getting it right over here at this block. And again, you will be requiring a series RLC branch. However, we already have that, so we'll be copy pasting that. Once that is done, we have the pulse generator block as well. So we don't need any other blocks apart from these, I believe. So let us start our simulation. Let us place these components in appropriate positions and we'll start off with our simulation. So the thyristor should be rotated by using Control R option and double click on it, disable the measurement port because we're not using them. Even if it is there, it doesn't matter, but just to avoid confusion with respect to additional terminal, I'm just removing it. So copy paste this and place this in this particular fashion. Once that is done, let us construct the circuit with respect to rectifier first, and and then later on we'll be connecting a load for the rectifier section. So AC source is to be connected between these 2 points in this particular fashion. So once that is also done, we'll be using a resistive, we can try it for different loads. I'll be using an RL load, so the value is chosen to be equal to the default. So I also need a capacitor filter in order to ensure that the output voltage remains DC at the low terminals, so that the ripple also reduces as far as possible. I'll be connecting a capacitor between these 2 points in this particular fashion, and a resistor, an RL load is to be connected between these 2 points. So once this is done, whatever voltage is obtained at this point, I will be giving it to a scope in order to see what is the output voltage that we have obtained. So connect it to scope in this particular fashion. Now again, with respect to this block, I'll be rotating this. So you have to be very careful with respect to this MOSFET position. So disable this first, and it should be ensured that the MOSFET should be connected in this particular fashion. So copy paste this. Why are we using MOSFET for inverters? We are using because the supply is DC. If you're using a thyristor, again we have to use an external commutation circuit to turn them off. So in case of AC, during negative half cycle, the first two thyristors, 1 and 2, will be turned off because of natural commutation due to the negative voltage that is appearing across the anode terminals. So as a result, it will be turned off. But in this case, you have a DC supply, and if you're using a thyristor, we need an external commutation circuit, isn't it? And that is the reason why we don't go for such a circuit. I'll be connecting source to drain and source to source in this particular fashion, drain to drain again. And once this is done, I'll be taking the tapping of the supply from this point. So here we'll be getting DC supply, isn't it? So I'm connecting that as the supply to the inverter section. Consequently, we will be requiring another series RLC branch. So I'll be connecting an RL load again. So you can try it for different loads. As I mentioned, it should be connected between these 2 points. I've made separate videos on how to simulate an inverter, how to simulate a rectifier. You can watch that with respect to exact design procedure and design your own circuit. I will be requiring a voltage measurement block, so connect it between these 2 points in this particular fashion. And apart from that, I also require a scope. So Control C and then Control V at this point. Connect it over here. So one important thing to remember is what is the peak amplitude? It is 325.15. The reason why it is 325 is because they've asked us for peak amplitude VM, and it is not the actual voltage. Usually we take 230 as the actual voltage, isn't it? So 230 into root 2, that will be 325.15. So we'll be basically entering that. A lot of students make mistake over here, so be very careful over here. So we will be considering the frequency to be equal to 50 hertz. Now comes the portion where we have to enter the pulse generator block values. So double click on this and let the amplitude be equal to 1, so we're not worried about it. What is the time period? So it's 0.02. Why is it 0.02? 1 by 50 will give you 0.02, and that is why it is 0.02. I'll be setting a pulse width of about 50%. So why is it 50%? Just to ensure that 50% of the duration the switches should be on and remaining 50% it should be off. Just to consider it to be similar with respect to all the other switches, so that the turn on and turn off time will be equal. So it is basically easy for us to analyze, and that's why I'm going for this particular value. Click on OK. Once that is done, I'll be triggering these two thyristors. So connect it at this point. Again, copy paste this pulse generator block, give it to the other two thyristors. One important thing to remember now is to give some phase delay. So half cycle corresponds to 0.01, so give that as the phase delay and click on OK. So after 0.01, after first half of the cycle, during negative half cycle, these two will naturally be turned off. Consequently, these two will be triggered. That is why I'm giving it as 0.01, as the total duration of the time period is 0.02 if you observe here. I hope this concept is clear. So again, I will be using a pulse generator block over here, and I'll be connecting it in this particular fashion over here. Again, I'll be requiring another pulse generator block with respect to these two MOSFETs. So I'll be using the same values, so it doesn't matter. Uh, One important aspect with respect to this circuit that you have to remember is that you can give the firing angle as well, delay. If you want, you can choose the value of alpha to be equal to 30 degree and design the circuit. I have done that in case of rectifier separately. You can look at those videos and try to correlate with the concept and do this circuit on your own. So now we have connected the components with respect to the circuit. Now let us reduce the simulation time to 1 second, because these are static loads. In case you are using a motor, it takes time to settle down, and there will be transients, and it takes at least 5 seconds. So that is why I'm giving it as 1 second in this circuit. Let us click on run simulation. So it does take some time to simulate, and once that is done, now let us double click on the scope in order to see the waveform. So let us start off with the rectifier section over here. So we can zoom in the waveform in this particular fashion. We are getting a voltage of about a DC voltage, if you observe. So we have to use a capacitor with a higher value, or design a capacitor such that the ripples will be much lesser, because the ripple now is from 0 to 270 odd, so that is very high. So we have to design a circuit such that it will be as less as possible. So once that is done, let us look at the inverter output. So if you observe here, you are getting an AC output waveform. So if we have both positive and negative cycle, so we're using an RL load, and that is why you're getting a pure sine wave kind of a waveform. If you're using a resistive load, again the voltage will go to zero, and there will be operation in that particular fashion. So that is why DC conversion is obtained here, if you carefully observe, and you are obtaining an AC waveform at this particular region. So you can design the circuit based on the required output voltage. I'm randomly selected the values of RL and C in this case, just to demonstrate how this can be built. So you can watch my videos on rectifiers and inverters, and you can use SPWM technique also in these type of circuits. I hope this video gives you a clear understanding on how to simulate a dual converter in MATLAB. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out by typing in your questions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thanks for watching this video. Meet you guys in another video. Thank you.